your windows. Lock your doors. Keep your loved ones near. Time is running out. It's here for fear.
Welcome to Ear for Fear. This is Donovan.
Hey, and I'm Rick.
And this is the podcast where we talk about scary movies or movies trying to be scary.
Today we're going to be talking about 2014's Tusk, written and directed by Kevin Smith. Before we jump in, let's just do a quick rundown of what the movie is about. When podcaster Wallace travels to Canada to interview someone for his show, he winds up meeting a strange old man named Hal, who has many stories to tell about his past life during the interview. It all seems perfect for an unforgettable episode until Wallace blacks out and regains consciousness, bound to a wheelchair. The old man subjects his terrified guest to a bizarre medical procedure that will transform more than just his perception of one of the sea's most majestic creatures. So, Tusk, you hadn't seen this before.
No, and for good reason. I was not interested at all.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I suggested it. I don't remember why I suggested it, because I think I know you hadn't seen it. And I had seen it once, but I saw it through a tattoo session. So I was able to kind of follow it, and it seemed decent enough. I mean, considering what the story is about.
It's oddly fitting to get some sort of body modification while you're watching Tusk.
That's kind of, yeah, right? Yeah. So it's, right off the bat, I know you didn't like it. I don't mind it. I didn't love the movie. If you were to sit there and tell someone, yeah, it's a movie about some guy who, gets turned into a walrus. Really, that's what this boils down to. Spoiler alert.
No, that sounds like a cool movie. What doesn't sound like a cool movie is a guy is tortured to being turned into a walrus. You know what I mean? Like it's almost a form of torture for him. It's like a terrible sentence, almost like to death, but doesn't die. But he also loses his humanity as well. It's very disturbing and not fun to watch. And it's also played with a level of goofiness that I think is at odds with the horror aspect of the film. It's just a weird, mixture of emotions that this movie is trying to do that I don't think work very well. And we talked about this last week on Dog Soldiers, as well as I think at this point, any other number of movies. But I don't know what the movie's trying to do. And I don't think it's doing any of those quite well, because I don't think it's a very funny movie. And I don't think it's a very scary movie. I do think it's horrific.
Yeah.
But not scary. So if it's... If we're looking only at body horror, then yeah, it fills that horror part of the genre pretty well. But I don't think that can sustain a movie. So really, it's a torture film, and I'm not really into torture films.
I'm not into torture films either. I don't think this is a true torture film, though. I've seen other ones that I stay away from. I don't like them. Coming to mind would be like Hostel. I don't like those movies. I know people enjoy them. That's fine. They're not my type of movie. I don't think this is on that line. The problem I have with this movie, like I said, I don't hate it. It's not a great movie, but it's trying to figure out what it's trying to do. At times it's humorous. We got Johnny Depp that you didn't even know was Johnny Depp.
It took me like a minute to realize it was Johnny Depp.
and his character, I'm trying to figure out, is he trying to be, I know he's this kind of odd character,
Well, it's
and that's fine, but
it's Johnny Depp playing an oddball character, and he's doing it very well, and his performance is the funniest in the movie for sure.
No, he's great,
but it's like, it's not like, this movie made me laugh one time, and I don't remember where it was. And that was it. You say the movie's humorous, and yeah, I guess it's
trying
humorous,
to be a lot of different things.
It's not funny.
No, it's not funny, but it's trying to do all these things, and I don't know if it's doing all of them well. It's like Kevin Smith. I don't know what he was thinking with this movie. I don't know. Did he just run out of Jay and Silent Bob and Mallrat movies or something?
Look, I'm not here
Clerks 20. I don't know, but
I'm not here to speculate on the someone's writing process, or their directorial process. Since he had basically full creative control throughout the entire film. That's what happens when you're a writer and director. What I can say is what's on screen doesn't really work very well, and it doesn't lead to either a pleasurable film experience or one that I think is like worthwhile. It is memorable, but it's like memorable for aspects that I think are just in the premise. And okay, well, that's not can't sustain a 100-minute film, So you just got like this weird Frankenstein like movie, and it wasn't fun, and I don't enjoy having spent my time that way.
Yeah. See, I thought the acting was great in this. That's the one thing I can say. Justin Long is good. He's kind of his character kind of warrants to be kind of a dickhead at most of the time through this movie, because we see flashbacks of him cheating on his girlfriend constantly and bragging about it. Not to mean that he doesn't love her and care for her, but he's kind of a dick that way. We already said Johnny Depp. Michael Parks kills this. When we get other little bits and pieces, Haley Joel Osment is in it. He's not really memorable in this. He's just kind of there. Really this boils down to Justin Long, Michael Parks, and Johnny Depp. And I think all three of them are really good. Michael Parks steals the show on this. He's truly the star of this film. He's really good.
Genesis Rodriguez really kills it in that scene where she's, confessing to Osment's character. That was really, really good.
That was good, yeah.
There's some really great performances. I love me some Justin Long. I wish we see him more often. We've talked about one other Justin Long movie in this podcast, Drag Me to Hell. He has a smaller part there, but he's really good in that too. And I just like seeing him.
I like Justin Long. He's a good actor. He always play
you know him for the comedy, but he plays the horror of this really well.
He does. The only thing I could not get past was that damn mustache. That thing was it was just driving me crazy. I don't like mustaches unless you're a cop or some porn actor, and I just
So you like it only if they're a porn actor?
Porn actor, cop is fine. If you're playing a cop or if you're playing a porn star, that's fine. Grow a big old thick mustache. But
as I get older,
I think the mustache mainly was because it was to. His name is Wallace. Walrus kind of sounds similar. He's got the. We know the walruses have the tusks and the hair that almost looks like a mustache. I think that's what was happening here. I just didn't want to see it. I couldn't get past it.
I'm surprised you care at all.
It was bothering me.
I'm kind of down with the mustache when it looks okay, and it looks okay on him. Honestly, I didn't pay any attention to the mustache, and I think it's people like you, Dad, who give the mustache a bad rap, and will lead to mustache, prejudice, and it needs to stop. So
I have a problem, man. I need help.
Yes, you do, and we'll try to find that help for you.
Is there a Mustache Anonymous, or it's like a 10-step program?
Hopefully it's not 10. Hopefully it's at least it's less than that. We can get this fixed right away. So they're podcasters. That's what we're doing right now. So I think at this point, Kevin Smith has already done his podcast. Is that Smodcast?
I don't.
You don't know anything about this?
No, I don't,
dude. All right.
Dude,
Well,
I kind of gave up on Kevin Smith a long time ago. He did some early on good movies, and after that, I just don't care for most of his stuff anymore. You know, yeah. So I mean, I didn't pick this movie because it was written and directed by Kevin Smith. I just thought it'd be kind of something interesting we could watch and talk about.
Well, so they
yeah.
they had this premise in an episode of their podcast. So, and I think at that point it was episode 259. What's crazy to me is, he spent 259 weeks. I don't know if they did one a week. I know it's a weekly podcast, so that's just the math I'm going to be using. That's like 5 years of episodes. That's an insane amount of time to be doing a thing, but make it feel like you're so out of touch with the medium and how it operates when you're making a movie. You know what I mean? It's like if someone made a movie about being a painter, but made the process of painting feel so like out of touch with what it is to be like a painter.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not what podcasting is necessarily like. They're having like the greatest time of their life, and they don't seem to know how to talk into a mic. One has a pop filter, one doesn't. And there's just like this weird aspect to it. Like it just felt very, very like not out of touch. It's
Like
it didn't
dated.
It didn't feel right. No, it didn't feel dated.
Didn't feel
It
dated.
didn't feel right to me. And I think there's like almost like this insincerity in the way it was portrayed that, kind of put me off. I don't
think
know.
it was done intentionally?
I think there's a level of like maybe shortcuts in this movie, and that was one of them. Where, okay, what's the stereotypical podcasting setup? What's the premise of their show? Who are they as people? And then he just did shortcut.
Yeah.
They're looking for fame in the most like the easiest way. They happen to be successful. They're a shock channel with a shock, like a very punny, shocking name. It's all very just like,
what is it? Not C?
Not C.
Yeah, that's just
party
not,
or
that's
whatever.
just not funny, man.
It wouldn't fly anywhere.
No, it wouldn't.
It's people would be like, first of all, yeah, I get it. Second of all, it's really not that funny. Third of all, why would you be that stupid to make that your name? It doesn't work. It's like Kevin Smith just had like this idea and like, okay, that's good enough. Ha ha ha. Yeah. And then they did it, and they probably did find that genuinely funny, but it's not. And that's kind of like this film in a nutshell for me. Every attempt at humor doesn't land, and most of the attempts at horror don't land. Basically, if Michael Parks isn't in the scene talking for like 3 minutes about a cool story, I'm not like into it. If Justin Long isn't like being tortured, I'm not into it. If Genesis Rodriguez isn't crying, I'm not into it. Like if Johnny Depp isn't giving a good performance. So that's like 30 minutes of the film basically. And then the rest of it just doesn't work for me.
So maybe this would have worked better as a short film, maybe.
This would have been like 100 times better because you get rid of all the unnecessary fat that's in this film.
So
that entire scene at the airport, throw it away. Johnny Depp, yes, you don't even remember it.
No, I do. When he was talking with the
beard guy.
Yeah, with the beard guy.
Throw that out.
Talking about hockey and all this other crap.
Kevin Smith's daughter and Johnny Depp's daughter, throw away most of that scene.
The boot was, that I found myself like repeating that because I thought it was funny, but yeah, that's
an eye roller for me. Oh yeah, this is the one joke about Canadians you can think of. Well, first of all, South Park did it, and they put more effort into it back then too. So what ground are you treading that's worth treading here? Who doesn't know that joke about Canadians? It's not a good joke, and you're putting it into your multi-million-dollar film. Like, what the fuck? There's just like little things like this that add up for me over the course of a movie. And it's like I can ignore like a cheesy scene for like 5 minutes. I did that for the Reanimator or whatever, but I can't do that over and over again throughout your film if everything else isn't working. And there's not a whole lot that works here.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I think if he just dissected this thing, made it into a 30 or 40 minute short film, I think it would have been a lot better. Again, it's not that I hate it. But if it wasn't, like you said, if it wasn't for Michael Parks, Justin Long, Johnny Depp was great. Other than that, because let's be real, the Walrus was whatever.
The Walrus costume made no sense. Like it was the costume from a film perspective doesn't make any sense. But like, so Justin Long is a walrus now. where did they get all the extra fat and
And
skin to like put into him? You know?
because it just looks like it was all sewed together and in this big old it doesn't.
It doesn't like, it's not very scary. It's kind of gross at first, but then you can't get over the fact like, oh yeah, this is definitely a costume. You know, like just as long as laying down in a costume and he's got makeup on his face and it all just like, there's definitely probably like air in the costume from like Justin Long in the outside of the costume. And you can like kind of tell that when he's moving his head. It's very goofy. And we talked about this last week in Dog Soldiers. There's like, you know, like, am I supposed to be repulsed or am I supposed to find this funny? And I'm not sure. I think I'm supposed to be repulsed, but like it's so fake that I can't help but notice it. So that would mean it would be funny. So I'm like, I'm in like this feedback loop of what the hell am I supposed to be feeling right now? And it's, you know, like talking about it, it's upsetting me. And because it was upsetting me when we were watching it, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, like when you're a writer director and this was a $3 million film, I'm sure a lot of this was, I don't know the production, but you're given a level of freedom, especially from like A24, who helped produce this movie, to just do whatever the fuck you want. So it's like, I'm sure he had a lot of freedom for all this stuff. And is this like a prequel era Lucas film where like no one wanted to say no to Kevin Smith, or did he just have a bunch of yes men on board being like, yeah, that's fine? You know,
I almost think he probably wanted to hang out with his friends, and his wife is in it, his daughter's in it. I think he just wanted to. Maybe their idea was let's take a vacation, because this film, I think I read it was filmed in like 2 weeks. So it's like, hey, let's go take a 2-week vacation in Canada. Let me have some of my friends and my family with me, and let's make a movie. And you know, because I read that most of their budget went to getting the rights to use Tusk, you know, which is a Fleetwood Mac song. You know, so I think they dropped most of their money on the rights to that. And I think this was a long vacation for them with their friends and family. And let's throw in a movie.
If that's true, that's insane.
I think I read it was filmed in like, I don't know, 15 to 18 days or something. You have to look that up, but I think that's what I read. So to me, it's like, hey, Johnny Depp, hey guys, let's go to Canada. Let's film a movie. Here's the premise. I know it sounds crazy, and you know, let's all hang out together. You know, and I don't know, you know, maybe I'm wrong, but 2 weeks. I mean, who the hell films an hour and a half movie in 2 weeks? How does that happen?
It's like, you know, you can make something really fast and it'd be pretty good. The original draft for or at least the shooting script for Old Boy, whatever, that was like literally written in like 24 hours.
That's crazy.
That's like a 2-hour movie, and that movie is insane. And it, like the first draft or whatever draft was written in 24 hours is just crazy to me, man.
That's a good movie. I keep hearing good things. I haven't seen this movie, Old Boy.
Well, don't watch the remake because they kind of sucked the life out of what made Old Boy good. Like, I think, like, I haven't actually seen that movie, but I know what the general opinion of it. And I've seen the one shot that they crib from the original film. And if you get that wrong, then you're kind of like,
I gotta check this out.
Maybe it's like a microcosm of everything else wrong with the movie, but yeah, it's a good movie. You should watch it. Don't read anything about it because, you know, it's one of those type of movies.
Yeah, I don't like to read much. You know, I'm just trying to.
I know, but you like checking out trailers, and I would recommend.
I do. I do like watching trailers. You know, I am a trailer junkie, but
like I would say that Old Boy does a good job of being like a horrible film, like, you know, in terms of like pure horror in that movie than it does in this movie. You know, you don't know what I mean because you haven't seen it, but
no.
That movie does something pretty gnarly in like the last act of that, you know, the last act, and it's wild. And you can say I just don't like Tusk. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sorry. So anyway,
there's no need to apologize, man. I didn't think you were gonna like this, but I thought, hey, let's do it. Let's see what you think. Hey, man, I don't know,
what wrongs I've done to you, but hopefully I don't.
You know, surprisingly, you could have came back and said you like this again. Because I keep going back to Dead Alive. I was shocked how much you like Dead Alive. I'm not saying Dead Alive is not a good movie. It is, but I was shocked how much you liked it. So I'm like, will he like Tusk? Probably not. But you know, you could surprise me. You know, but so anyways, you know, where are we at here? I mean, so Justin Long goes to Canada. I'm sorry, what's his Wallace? Wallace goes to Canada.
Real quick, I said A24 produced it. It was distributed by A24. I just don't, you know. Okay, correction,
okay.
real fast.
Yeah.
Okay. So
the idea he's going to Canada because he's going to All right,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead,
I
go
got to
ahead.
interrupt you again.
Yeah, go ahead.
The reason to go to Canada is because a video on YouTube popped up because he chopped off his leg in like a callback to like the Star Wars kid, which
Yeah.
was already called back in Arrested Development. Even that felt dated, and that was just a couple years. And first of all, YouTube wouldn't have someone chopping their leg off, for like more than a day at most. The special effect was terrible.
It was bad.
And it's not, first of all, people would be freaking out and no one would be watching it. It'd be on Live Leak or something. No one would see it because he's getting his leg chopped off. And that's another form of insincerity and out of touchedness. That would never happen ever in a billion years. Oh, and then he kills himself. And this whole sequence is just to make Justin Long seem like an asshole.
Yeah.
And he is. So I think the intention is to make you feel less bad for him, or for there to be justification for this torture that happens in the rest of the movie. But like, I don't think anyone deserves this. And no. I don't feel like him being an asshole is justification for anything that happens later on in the movie. And so there's all this weird stuff happening. Everything feels so insincere, out of touch. Like there's leaps of logic that I don't think work. And there's, that's the more things I don't like about the movie, man.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think, we get flashbacks with Wallace, Justin Long's character, where he's an asshole. And so him going to Canada to interview this kid, he has no remorse at all. The kid kills himself. He basically is at the wake or the funeral, and I'm pissed. I'm bummed because now I can't interview this kid, and I flew all the way to Canada. And so Kevin Smith is building up, all of this. Cheats on his girlfriend. He's just an ass. So it's like, well, okay, if this stuff happens to him, then we're not supposed to feel as bad. And that's really what it is. But so, like, the
movie's doing that, but then it constantly has these flashbacks to like him having like a loving relationship with Allie. And it's like, well, what are you trying to make me do now? Even the ending of the movie is like, well, let's do another flashback so we can see that Justin Long not only still cares about her, but he still has a little bit of his humanity, because she makes a point in that scene to be like, oh yeah, animals don't cry, but humans do. And then Justin Long cries at the end. And it's like the last we see of the movie. And it's like, hopefully I'm painting a clear picture here that does Kevin Smith even know what he's doing with the way he's writing this movie? Because I'm getting conflicting shit all over the place.
He is consistent on what he's trying to convey here. And again, I don't know, man. Now we're talking about it and thinking about it. I don't know. Maybe this again was just, let's just film this movie in 2 weeks and take a vacation in Canada while we're doing it. And, like I said, there's good performances, but if you're going to have a Michael Parks and you're going to have a Johnny Depp, well, you're going to have some good performances. Cause I haven't seen anything that Johnny Depp has done recently. I know people give him a lot of shit because he's done some bad stuff, but he's still a great actor.
If we're going to bring that up, it turns out that a lot of that stuff was probably fabricated by his wife, and the tables have kind of turned. I don't think you're up to date on that.
Probably not.
Yeah.
No, probably not.
It's been alleged that his wife is the abuser, and that's all that stuff that was brought. Okay. Rumored to have happened between them. Did not actually happen.
I wasn't even talking about that. I don't want to get into, we don't try to jump into that type of stuff. And but I meant more so he had taken some really kind of crappy movie roles.
You should have said that.
That's what I said.
No, you said he's done some bad stuff in the past.
I said
and that could be like, either way, man.
I said bad movie roles.
You did not say that.
I didn't?
Let's roll it back.
Okay, I'll have to, when we re-listen to this, I'm going to have to see, because I thought I'd said
you said bad stuff in the past.
I thought I said, well, that's not what I meant. Okay. Then I should have been very clear, and I'm being clear now. That's not what I meant. I don't like us to jump into those types of topics, because I'm not going to judge. I don't know all the facts. What I meant was bad movie roles. I had seen a lot of.
He's done a lot of those, even not too long ago.
And I don't know if that was just for a paycheck, but the reality is Johnny Depp has done a lot of good movies, and he plays a lot of cool characters.
Well, Johnny Depp, he's one of the greats, modern living actors, in my opinion. He's like, despite all the weird choices he makes sometimes, he's like mostly very, very, very good. And he's very, very, very good here. I literally didn't know it was Johnny Depp for a couple minutes.
I know.
And it's also because of the makeup and stuff, but like, he just has like a way with like, he really becoming another person.
Yes, he really kills this character. I mean, he jumps into this character, and he's he definitely kills it in it. Really, he really is convincible. He convinces you that he's this. What is his character's name? He's like some
Guy Lapointe.
Guy Lapointe. Yeah, I mean he kills it, man. He's great in it.
Anyone? So I was thinking about Johnny Depp and Michael Parks, and I feel like anyone else who did these movies would have not done as well as them. Like they're so hard to do. Michael Parks takes like what's kind of like a bad script and turns all these cool little stories into cool little stories, and they're really menacing and scary, and you're not sure if they're true or not. And then Johnny Depp takes this really crazy. Do I say like almost like insensitive almost character and makes it likable?
Yeah.
It's just all very, very, very good. And kudos to Michael Parks and Johnny Depp. They like do a really great job. And even Justin Long kills it as an asshole who knows how to be tortured, because these guys carry the movie and it's because of them. And again, Genesis Rodriguez kills it in that one scene. Like the performance, I think, is the only way the only reason to watch this movie. But even that isn't necessarily worth the time you're investing.
I can't disagree. I can't disagree with you. Like I said, I don't, I enjoy aspects of this movie. I've seen far worse movies than this. So if you take Michael Parks and Johnny Depp out, yeah, I mean, this would, this probably would definitely not be as good. They really have great performances.
And, I say that there's like fat in this movie. I said that earlier, but I'd almost like want to just keep all the fat with Johnny Depp because he props up the movie in a way. It's like a, I don't know, a crutch made of toothpicks or something. Like it doesn't need to be there. It's not really helpful, but it supports the movie in a way. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Tricky. I can see why you wouldn't want to cut any Johnny Depp stuff.
Michael Parks, and I think he has since passed, but he, he was great in this. He was great in, I thought that video, I don't know what they called the Kill Bill Kid or something, which is funny because Michael Parks was in Kill Bill and he was great in Kill Bill. He was in Kill Bill 1 and 2 playing different characters, and it's funny. It's like you've seen him in other movies and he's a very good actor, but I don't know. Does he not get a lot of love? It's like Quentin will cast someone and it's maybe someone that I'm not going to say washed up. I'm not going to say that, but he has done that with actors. He did that with Travolta. He took Samuel Jackson. After Jules and Pulp Fiction, Samuel Jackson was in every damn movie ever made after that. He takes actors and he either, whether they're maybe not doing as much stuff as they used to do, or maybe they're actors that have always done really good stuff, but you just don't know about them. And he just kind of brings them to the forefront. And he did that with Michael Parks in Kill Bill. Hell, he did that with Carradine, in Kill Bill, because Carradine had always done a lot of stuff. He did Kung Fu, the TV show, and he did other movies along, I think, Lone Wolf McQuade, maybe other things. But God, he was damn good in Kill Bill. Quentin has a way of doing that with people, man. He's just really good, and we talk about him all the time. But and I guess if anything here, is Kevin Smith? Would you say Kevin Smith brings out great performances in actors, or are they just already great? Because we already know Johnny Depp is a great actor, but does maybe Kevin Smith have some sort of influence on the character, and maybe he's bringing out better performances? If we can say anything about this movie, is maybe Kevin Smith did that. With the actors.
I can't disagree with you on that. I think it's a very interesting question. When there are just so many solid performances in a movie, you typically look at the common denominator and you look at the director, and Kevin Smith directed this movie. So I am like hesitantly saying, yeah, but I haven't seen like outside of his earlier films like Mallrats and Clerks and, Dogma. Like
you ever see Chasing Amy?
No.
It's not a bad movie. It's all right.
So like hesitant yes from me. Like he seemed to have done a really great job with this movie, and maybe he is like the secret actress director that that I'm discovering for the first time.
I mean, so we can't completely, I don't want to completely crap on Kevin Smith here. Then let's It's possible that he brought out these great performances because they are really good, in this film that you hate. It's
I
okay
didn't
for
say
me.
I hate it. I
Oh,
just
come
said
on.
I seriously don't like this movie
Oh,
at all, man.
Maybe you didn't say hate.
Did I say hate? I don't know.
I don't know if you did. Hate's a strong word, but you just said you very much
if I
dislike
said,
this.
Yeah, if I said hate, I don't take me that at face value, but I dislike this film a lot, and I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah. So I mean, we look. I mean, Wallace goes to this old man's house. He tells him stories. He's very engaged with this gentleman, and he's intrigued. He's going to make a great episode. This guy has great stories. He drugs him. He wakes up in a wheelchair. The guy tells him some bullshit story about a spider biting him. We had to amputate your leg. He's drugged. He's still drugged up and groggy. He can't move. He's trapped here, man. He's in Canada. He doesn't have his phone. Yeah, I mean, shit. So the guy, and then we start seeing some kind of scenes here and there with Howe and Wallace. One of the scenes at the dinner table. And I think we find we see Howe in a wheelchair. We think he can't walk. Oh no, he's fine. He gets up out of the wheelchair and goes slaps Wallace because he says something to piss him off, So look, what's happening is he's slowly gonna be turned into a walrus. Howe tells a story of his really only friend was when he was marooned or stranded on a small island? So
It's
when
like
he was
a bunch of rocks, really.
Yeah, when he was like what, late teens, early 20s,
16.
16. Okay, so he was stranded on this island, and his companion was a walrus, and that was the way he talks about it was the best time of his life. So he wants to create a walrus to not really have as a friend, I think more so, right? It's almost like because he eventually had to survive, so he killed the walrus to eat him so he could live, right? I mean, this is what, and so did he feel remorse for this? I mean, I kind of think he felt remorse, but the way he killed him, maybe it was sneaky. So he wanted to give the walrus an opportunity to defend himself. And so he wants to create this walrus, and Wallace is the new victim because he's tried this over and over again and it's failed. And so, so he makes him, he alters his body, cuts off his legs, puts him in this human, walrus suit. He's got tusks. He's got his hands. I don't know. They're all altered. It's freaky to look at, so, he does it though. Wallace, eats fish, kind of like a walrus would. He has to swim a certain way. So, he does this. In the meantime, his girlfriend and what's Haley Joel's character? I forget his name.
I don't know.
I forget his name. He's not like
Teddy.
Is it Teddy? He's not like super he has like such a small role in this. But the girlfriend and Teddy fly to Canada to try to track him down. This is where they find Johnny Depp's character. They're trying to piece everything together and to go and rescue Wallace because Wallace in the meantime had found his phone, left a message on both of their cell phones. This guy's gonna kill me. Please, come and find me. So yeah, I mean, look, I know we're kind of speeding through that, but I think that's really kind of what's going on here. There's some good acting, there's some good stories and great dialogue going on. But we don't need to spend a ton of time on all of that because we've already talked about it. I mean, there's great performances. So, I will say this, that this detective or whatever Johnny Depp's character is, he's good. He has a certain method, and you kind of question it at times because they question it, right? I mean, they're like, is this guy legit? And so, they track him down. In the meantime, Howe has put on his walrus. What is this? Some sort of costume? What is this, man?
It's probably like
a walrus suit or something.
Yeah, it's probably like leftover skin that he had from other whatever
felled walrus.
No, just like spare skin, the way you like keep a spare rag, like from t-shirt clippings or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
And then like he made that so he could fight with a successful walrus
Yeah.
surgery thingy. So
yeah. It's just I think it was his way of, okay, I'm going to give you the opportunity that I didn't give you years ago because I was sneaky on when I killed you and ate you to survive. So yeah, they fight, and Wallace gets the best of him. You know, he what is that? I mean, he's got the tusks, so he tusks him. I don't know. Is that a terminology where he stabs them with the tusks? I mean, because that's what, right? I mean, that's what walruses do, right? To prove their dominance, you know, with another, you know. I've seen these in like shows on TV, like almost like documentaries or something, you know, where the walruses fight each other, you know, to prove who's badass.
I just don't think they like kill each other by, you know, using their tusks as knives.
I don't know if
almost.
do they kill each other, or they just, the other one knows I'm better than you. And
I just think it's
I think they use their tusks to fight. I think
they probably hurt each other, but it's like until one runs away, you know? I don't think it's till the death. I don't know. I'm not a walrus expert. I don't think Kevin Smith is either.
No, probably not. But I mean, Wallace kills Hal, you know, stabs him. He's won. And in the meantime, they have tracked down where this Hal's house is, by some good detective work. You know, Teddy and the girlfriend, I forget her name, is it Allie? You know, they get into the house, they find out where Wallace is, but in the meantime, Hal's dead. And look, Wallace is a fucking walrus, man. There ain't no going back from this. There's no going back from this. It's not like, hey, we can take him out of the suit. And dude, he's done, man. You know? So anyways, yeah, they find him. It's disturbing for them. And you know, but Wallace has killed Hal. And yeah, so we get an ending that it's a year later, and Teddy okay, go ahead. Man. Go ahead. Did I miss something? I missed something.
It's sorry. Really stupid too. So you know, the Johnny Depp sees Wallace as a walrus, and he like has a shotgun, and he's like, boop. I don't think he does it, but he points the shotgun at Wally like he's gonna like shoot him, and then it like cuts to black, and it's like, oh, he shot him. Yeah, all right. They didn't do the sound effect of the gun going off, but yeah, they shot.
That's
you know, that's probably
that is a small detail.
That's probably for the best, but okay. And then it's like cut to 1 year later, and they show up at an animal sanctuary, and then Wallace is there, and he's got like the saddest little like space you can possibly have for someone who was a human, and he still is a human, you know. But why give me the fake out when you're then just going to reveal that it was a fake out literally in the next scene in like 1 minute?
Yeah.
What's the point of that? Just show Johnny Depp putting the gun down by Allie or something. Like, oh no, we'll you know, it's fine. We'll take care of it.
Yeah. Maybe just extend the scene a little bit to show some remorse on Johnny Depp's character's part, that, you know.
Yeah, he could even put the gun down himself, you know, just by thinking about it. Yeah, I don't know.
Just a lost opportunity there with the scene.
It's,
you know?
just stupid. Like maybe that's all that they had. No one thought about it. Or maybe everything else was unusable. I don't know, but I hope that was the case, because that decision as a decision is just stupid.
But again, 14, 18 days to film this thing. I don't know, man.
Come on.
I know, but
there's only so much excuse for like just bad decision making, man.
I still believe, and I'm sure there's nothing out there, and Kevin Smith would not admit to this, but I think this was just an extended vacation, and let's do a film in the meantime. That's what I think this was. But yeah, he's at some, it is shitty. He's got this little pool with the beach ball, and his mug, his cup that we haven't even talked about, that his big gulp, essentially with this, it's a Canadian version of a big gulp. You know, that thing is throughout the whole movie. It's almost in every damn scene. It's there, and maybe there's a reason for that. I don't know. We probably should have looked that up, but yeah, it's even there in this sanctuary with this beach ball, this tiny little body of water, and it looks like this igloo thing.
It just looks like trash. The cups.
It's fucked up, man. And so Teddy.
Well, it's also like he doesn't have flubber or whatever. There's no like a bunch of fat keeping him warm. I don't know what's there, but like he has to be freezing his flippers off, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's like he doesn't have the the same stuff that a walrus has to keep warm,
which is all that
And they're-
blubber and
they're
stuff. He doesn't
treating
have
him
any
like
of that.
they're treating him like an animal as opposed to like a human who just had the worst experience ever. Like even if like his mind broke, you would still treat him like a human. And they've got him like in subhuman conditions. Even for a walrus, that
Even
would
for
be
yes,
yeah,
horrible.
So like, what the fuck, dude?
It is. It is fucked up.
Again,
man.
there's like let me just do the minimum effort here when it comes to like the logic of all the stuff we're doing. And I think that maybe they may have even thought about this and they're like, okay, but that's not what we're going for here. So let's just ignore all that and just do what we want. And I don't like that stuff. I like it when, you take the time to think about something and then, do what makes sense that's also effective for your movie. And none of that was happening here. So,
yeah. I guess they at least they could have stuck him in a nice place. If he's going to live out the rest of his life as a walrus, at least could have been a nice setup. That thing was just shit, dude. That's horrible. And the fact is, I bet you there's a lot of animals that are set up like that in zoos and probably other sanctuaries where it's supposed to be this nice setup for this animal that you've taken out of captivity and stuck in a fucking cage or something.
You didn't take them out of captivity, you put them into captivity.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
You took them out of like the wild or
my
whatever.
bad. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. You take them out of their normal habitat, their normal surroundings, and you stick them into captivity. My apologies. And it's shitty for these animals. And here it is. You did this to the guy who was a human. And, he didn't deserve any of this. He was kind of an asshole and to cheat on his girlfriend, but he didn't deserve none of this stuff. And it's just a shitty thing. And so Teddy Alley shows up with a fucking fish. A fucking fish. Okay, what is this, like some awesome gift for a walrus? Yeah, we know they eat fish. But this is it.
And they even like throw it on the ground from like 2 stories up.
Yeah, you could. Yes, they did. Yes, you couldn't even go down there and hand it to him. You couldn't get him a better beach ball. I don't fucking know. I don't know. Something. But let's give him a fish because this was my boyfriend that I really loved. Even though he cheated on me, we've established that. But she still has feelings for him. She's still upset, and I brought him a fish.
It's all stupid.
Yeah. So
I don't like it.
Anyways. All right. Well, I don't think there's anything else we want to chat about.
No.
I think we've given this movie enough time. I didn't hate it, but it's not going to go down as it's definitely going to go down as one of Kevin Smith's best movies. Hell, it's not going to go down as a great horror movie. It's there. You can check it out. If you like Michael Parks, you like Johnny Depp, hell, some of these other actors, check it out. I mean, because they're good in it. So nothing else.
No, I wipe my hands from this movie.
I know you do. That's funny. But I think it made for a good, entertaining episode here. I know you didn't like it. I know you probably weren't going to like it, but I wanted us to check it out. And talk about it. We did that. We give it enough time. We don't have to ever talk about this movie ever again.
Yeah.
Again, I know I sound like a broken record. I didn't hate it. I'm not completely shitting on the movie. But I think most people aren't going to like this. I think true horror fans that have tolerance for this, they're probably going to find some sort of enjoyment in it,
Sure.
So, but anyways, that's it for us. Thanks again for listening. Make sure you tell everyone about our Ear for Fear podcast. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Ear for Fear. You can also check out our website, earforfear.com. There you can keep up to date on news, events, and episodes. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. We hope you come back and get an earful.